welcome back to Rebelwatch. I'm your new host, ERIKA, DIERKE, and joined with me is SAWYER ROVEGNO, TAYE Coleman, and Walker Farmer, and we are going to be talking some Ole Miss sports for the last time this semester. I want to start off with baseball. I mean, we got a big series this weekend. Every series is a big series when it gets to this point in the year. How did everyone feel about that series against Vanderbilt?
I thought it was a big series win and a win that we really need to have, especially coming off the series loss to South Carolina, one of the worst teams in the SEC. But this was a great spot to bounce back against a really good team ranked number 9th in the country at home at Swayze from a packed crowd. And I thought for the most part we got the job done, especially those first two games. I loved what I saw from Hunter Elliott and Riley Maddox. They pitched very well. Both games we didn't allow very many runs, and then that didn't put as much pressure on the offense, and then they scored enough runs and we were able to get the win. Yeah, we did get run ruled game 3, 13-0, but I'm not that worried about it. I just thought this was a series that we really needed to win. We didn't even really need to win it. It was just a big opportunity to win. Like you mentioned earlier before the show, to have a chance at hosting a regional this year, this was a series that we had to win. And it was also just in parts to guys like Judd Utermark. He had 2 home runs this weekend, and I was really glad to see that because he's one of our better home run hitters this season, but he hits a lot of his home runs against non-conference teams, against worse pitching. So it was good to see him have big home runs like that to help us win 2 big games against a good team. And then lastly, what I want to say, the last thing I want to talk about for this Vanderbilt series is how we are still ranked 23 after beating number 9 Vandy in a series. That doesn't make much sense to me. I get we got blown out that last game, but that shouldn't matter, winning 2 of 3. So I don't really understand that, but still a good weekend for Ole Miss.
I would say I think you nailed it right on the head. We've been talking about how we lost to the Tennessee, we lost to South Carolina. We need a little bit more momentum coming up. I know we talked about that on the last show. And I think we did a really good job of getting back. We hit really well, like you just said, Judd Utermark with 2 home runs on this series. I was really impressed with our pitching. Again, that 1-2 punch with Elliott and Maddox really solidifying themselves. I just think that overall the momentum, the energy coming back in, especially with the Austin Peay game that also played, I really think that this is great momentum, great to see us hopefully hosting that super regional soon, coming forward and just really hitting our stride at the perfect time.
Yeah, right I was going to go right back to what you said and that angle of momentum and stuff. Like, this is a 32-13 team. Like, I feel like this year we're really legit. And I think you're right, Sawyer. I feel like peaking and you had the down spell of the Vanderbilt series, but going into these next series and finishing out the season strong, I feel like all cards are in our favor to do that. I think it's just a matter of honing in on the fundamentals, and I really do feel like we're going to host a regional.
Yeah, real quickly though, I want to say we were hot. We were a top 10 team in baseball, and then we lose 2 series, and they bump us all the way down to 23. Walker said we competed and beat Vanderbilt pretty good, and now we're still on that 20. I think it's a little disrespectful, honestly. I would like to see us a little higher in the rankings. I know D1 baseball has us around 12 or 13. USA baseball has us like 18, 19, and then USA Today has us like later in the 20s, but I definitely want to see us higher in those rankings to give us more of a shot to even host those regionals later.
Yeah, I think that state series is going to be a very good chance and indicator to, one, fix the standings and also host a regional. So I'm with you. I think it's disrespectful for sure, but I feel like we're used to it. This happens in baseball, football, so.
Yeah, I agree.
I was tending to think, though, like earlier in the year, we were taking these wins against unranked SEC opponents and jumping up so much. So it kind of might be that we're getting our comeuppance now. And I certainly agree, falling way too far for how we've been playing. But I think it's good to have adversity. I think it's good. I think that we can, have something to rise above. Like, we don't want to be seen as too good. We want to be fighting for something.
Right.
Does anyone else have any comments about upcoming this weekend against Oklahoma, things that we need to lock in on to get that win?
Yeah, just before talking about Oklahoma, I just want to mention the Austin Peay game real quick midweek. I thought that was a really big win to have, especially because Austin Peay is not your normal midweek team. They're a really good team, especially offensively. They're one of the best offensive teams in the country in a lot of categories. So that was a big win to have, especially because we were down a lot of that game. And then we had a big 7th inning, and that was able to get us a win. And I thought the main reason for that, we were able to get a big inning, take the lead, and then it was our bullpen that just shut it down. The bullpen allowed no runs. One guy that stands out to me again is Hudson Calhoun, just because he kind of helped solidify that win last week versus Mississippi State midweek. So Hudson Calhoun's continuing to play well, and that's a great thing to see, especially going into series like Oklahoma. I think this is another really big series this week. It is at Oklahoma, but still, I don't even feel like Oklahoma is as good as Vanderbilt. So I'm hoping that we can just win the series this week again. I would love a sweep, but we don't need that. Just win the series and then hopefully get some other big series wins to end the season to host, like we mentioned earlier, against State and Auburn. So we have a lot of opportunities left, and I really think that we will capitalize on those opportunities.
That's what I was worried about. I was going to say our bullpen, because against the Tennessee series, our bullpen was really letting us down. 0 runs in 5 innings on 9 Ks, 3 hits. Really, really dominant from them. But moving on to the Oklahoma series, like you just said, they've beaten some teams. They've beaten Missouri. They've held their own against Mississippi State. They swept them earlier in the year. So they're definitely a competitive team, but I definitely think we have the edge. We need to take, I think, at least 2 of those games, definitely win that series to give us, or not give us, but continue that momentum moving forward.
Yeah. Well, we wish nothing but best of luck to the Ole Miss baseball team, but let's take a look after the break at some people who already made it. We're going to check out the NFL draft. We will be right back.
Where are we gonna go? Someplace warm. A place where the beer flows like wine. Where beautiful women instinctively flock like the salmon of Capistrano. I'm talking about a little place called
Oxford, Mississippi. To see it is to believe it. You hear about it, but you just have to see the party.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Grove.
The sound and fury are here.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Did he got a toe down? Pageantry, the pride, the pomp is unmatched and unrivaled. This stadium has come unhinged. This is what college football is all about. Oh, as he gets walloped. No coach is having more fun than Lane Kiffin. This is the place to be in college football right now.
The Ole Miss draft saw 8 players taken, which is the most since 1994 when the 7 rounds system was implemented. So that's obviously very exciting. I want to know what you guys think, and regarding the players that were picked after round 1, or even including round 1, which players do you think from Ole Miss are going to make the most impact on their team as a rookie? Like, who really stands out to you?
Trey Harris to the Chargers is a steal in round 2. I just feel like, and I watch when I watch the Chargers versus the Texans in the divisional round or wild card, I believe, you know, they need a weapon. Los Angeles needs a weapon. Justin Herbert needs a weapon. And I feel like Trey Harris just opens so many possibilities to the offensive scheme and what they can do. You know, you can have him in the slot. You can have him outside. And I just feel like, yeah, we saw him ball out, you know, dominate, be the best receiver in the SEC for 8 weeks straight. So I definitely feel like Trey Harris to the Chargers is a great pick. I feel like he was a better value than Luther Burden going very early in the second round. So.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Trey Harris will definitely make an impact. And then also just other guys that got drafted in round 2 and then round 3, Trey Amos and Princely Omamielen. I think those guys will have a big impact also, just being drafted so early like that. And because they were a part of one of the best defenses in all of college football this year. And both Amos, Princely, and even Trey Harris, I know at times were predicted maybe to even get drafted in the first round. Like, it was definitely a possibility. So I think those 3 will definitely make an impact, along with Walter Nolan obviously getting drafted 16th overall. I think he will have a big part of the defensive line next year for the Arizona Cardinals. And then Dart, I think it'll take him a little bit of time. Obviously, he'll be behind Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston his first year or first few, but I think he'll get an opportunity eventually. And then lastly, I just want to talk about kind of one surprise for Ole Miss and one kind of snub. One surprise would be Jordan Watkins getting drafted in the 4th round.
Yeah.
Really did not see him getting drafted that high, but great for him. He is a great wide receiver, been here the last 3 years, put up big numbers every year, so I do expect him to produce quite a bit in the NFL. And then I just want to talk about Jared Ivey. I just don't see how he does not get drafted. How does no one snag him in the 7th round? I really thought Jared Ivey was going to get drafted day 2, possibly in the 3rd round, most likely or something.
Not to interrupt
really
you, but
surprised me.
so many edge rushers getting selected.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, that just shocked me completely. Could not believe Jared Ivey did not get drafted.
Yeah, he did get picked up later, but
Yeah.
I was like, there's no way they're going to skip out on him. Another guy they skipped out on was Chris Paul, who did slip later. I know the Rams have a really good history with their rookies. Yeah. Last year, Jared Verse won Defensive Rookie of the Year, so they're going to find ways for him. They're going to definitely try and use him versatile. I heard that they're going to try and move him inside a little bit. I know he plays outside, sideline to sideline, but they're going to try and move him inside. I like that little run fit, run stopping. But overall, I think that the Rebs had a really good draft. I want to talk about Trey Amos of the Commanders. Now they have him on one side and Marshawn Lattimore on the other side. That's going to be pretty locked down over there. But, Tay, I like how you mentioned the versatility from Harris, how he's 6'3", and he'll run around you and he'll run over you. You don't really see that a lot from receivers now, but I think that's a really, really good pickup for the Chargers. Now they can pair him with Ladd McConkey and Amarian Hampton, Herbert. That team's going to be good. They're going to be good. Yeah.
I'm glad that J.J. Pegues was drafted. I think he's a really good player, and I think he's going to, address an issue that the Raiders had. Like, they can now bulk up their interior defensive line, and then, he also has that, short yardage option. And if they end up using him for that, I think he's a great player. But I would agree. I think of the, free agent signings, I think Jared Ivey definitely has the best chance to, make it onto a roster, get some playing time. I was also surprised to see him fall, and then Trey Harris, I'm a huge fan. I really like him. The Chargers are pass heavy. I think he'll fit great. There are a lot of good receivers in LA, so he'll have to prove himself. But I think beyond being a good route runner, he's also very smart. He was a quarterback before, and I think that shows a lot too. So I'm really happy for him in that regard. Outside of Ole Miss, was there anything? I mean, we could talk Shedeur Sanders or Quinn Ewers. Was there anything that jumped out at you guys beyond Ole Miss?
Personally, I'm not a big fan of Sanders falling to the 5th round. More specifically though, the Saints taking Tyler Show over Shedeur Sanders is my biggest issue. Falling to the 5th round is one thing, but I feel like New Orleans was the perfect fit, and I feel like New York was the perfect fit for Dart, and Tennessee was the perfect fit for Ward. So yeah, that was my main takeaway of the draft. It was kind of publicized, and I found myself watching the 3rd and 4th round just to see Sanders selected. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree. I wasn't too high on Sanders in the draft, but falling all the way to the 5th round is kind of crazy for that, and especially taking a quarterback right before him on your own team, and then you're gonna go take Sanders as he's been the guy for you guys. I was kind of surprised on that, but I do want to talk about real quick a team that really stood out to me overall. Their whole grade was the Giants taking Dart and Abdul Carter, and also going and getting Cam Scatterville. I like a little Cam Scatterville, a little hard runner. I think that team's gonna be electric. I want to see Dart start. I don't think he's gonna start. I think they're gonna develop him a little bit, but I've just been thinking since the draft, Dart and Scatterville on a read option the whole time. That's gonna be fun to watch.
Scatterville in the 4th is crazy value too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
I think the Giants could.
Big steal for them, yeah.
And then I just want to talk more about, this Shedeur Sanders situation. That surprised me so much to see him drop all the way to the 5th. I mean, I know a lot of people were surprised at the beginning, I guess not after the whole draft, to see Dart get drafted over Sanders by the Giants at 25th. I wasn't really mad about that. That can be seen as a good decision, but there's no way you can let Shedeur Sanders fall all the way to the 5th round, especially quarterbacks like Jalen Milroe and Dylan Gabriel and Tyler Show, like you mentioned, getting drafted before him, especially Dylan Gabriel getting drafted from the Browns before Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders wasn't even the first quarterback selected by his team that draft. That was just so shocking to see. I couldn't believe someone wouldn't snag him in the 2nd or 3rd round, especially because we know he's a pretty good quarterback. Obviously, there were reasons people thought he could have got drafted in the 1st round, especially when all these other guys are such big gambles. Yeah. Shedeur Sanders isn't even a gamble anymore when you're picking him that late. Like, you're not even having to throw that much money at him. So that has completely surprised me, and I still think Shedeur Sanders could have a really good NFL career.
Yeah, the Steelers too. I feel like the Steelers were like they waited to the 6th round and took Will Howard.
Yeah.
Like they needed a quarterback, arguably more than Cleveland.
Yeah.
So
Cleveland
100%.
has a whole bullpen
Yeah.
for a quarterback room now. I mean,
Even more than the Giants too.
yeah. I mean, I think it's kind of become obvious that it probably is some off the field stuff that made him drop so low. But, and I mean, it's important to have like a good locker room, but I would agree, like letting him fall that far is risky for all the teams that did it. I hope it works out for them. But we are going to get back to some Ole Miss sports with softball after the break.
The dynamic freshman is starting to make his impact. Dagger with the shot clock down to 1.
That 3-ball drops for Jamin Brakefield.
Fagan from the corner with a triple. Burrell for 3, and that's a big response. 3-ball, yes. Miss shooting lights out of the pavilion. And give him one more. Wow. Alley-oop. Well, you can't teach that. Well, that should give Ole Miss a boost.
NewsWatch is a student-run newscast that goes live every week, Monday through Thursday at 5 o'clock.
NewsWatch is more than just a college team. It is an immersive learning experience. You learn certain skills that help you in your future journalism career.
Rebelwatch is just a cool experience because like I want to do something in the sports world, so just to get the chance to do that on a platform like this, it's just a great opportunity.
We are the only live station in the Oxford-Lafayette area, with Tupelo being the closest. We cover all local news.
All right, welcome back. We're taking it back to the Diamond, and we're going to look at softball. They're in a similar position to baseball, where they're kind of ranked in the lower top 25, and they certainly have a great chance at hosting a regionals. They have their last regular season series against Mississippi State this weekend. Does anything stick out to you guys?
I think it's more so just like finishing a job. Personally, I really feel like they could go and get 2 games out of this 3-game series. I think it's just a matter of bouncing back. You know, they just lost to Tennessee, but that's a really, really good cream of the crop type softball team. So I feel like as long as they go into this game at Starkville in their environment, I really feel like they could get 2 out of at least 2 out this series.
I would agree. I mean, it's a rivalry game, right? Everyone wants to beat State, every sport. We're in the whole series of football, basketball, baseball, softball. We're up on them right now. So I think that would help us really clinch it. But again, it's a rivalry, so anything can happen. We're looking good. Same with baseball, this whole momentum thing, finish strong so that we can hopefully host that regional for the first time since, was it ever maybe?
I think
2019. That was 19. It was 19. I was thinking if it was 19. Yeah, 19. But yeah, definitely finish strong, and yeah, hopefully get that slot.
Yeah, but this was just a very big series against Tennessee. I know we lost the series just because they are ranked #1 overall in the country. They're a very, very good team. Just to win a game, and that first game, to just kind of put yourself in a position to maybe win the series the whole week, and that was awesome to see, especially when you have your rivals, Mississippi State, this weekend, last weekend of the regular season away. They're ranked 18, we're ranked 17. I think it's going to be a big series. Hopefully we can win that series, then maybe pick some up in the SEC softball tournament. And yeah, I think Ole Miss softball is in a great spot to potentially host this postseason. I think they're kind of in a similar spot to Ole Miss baseball with everything in front of them. And that's just a great spot to be in, especially this time of season. You know, just became May, so postseason baseball is coming up soon. It's just a really exciting time.
Yeah, so with this being the last weekend of regular season softball, technically we could finish as high as 4th in the SEC, as low as 12th. So there's a lot, you know, riding on this series. It depends on how everything else shakes out, but, you know, it's very exciting. I'm personally looking ahead. Some players that are jumping out to me, Jaden Pone has been so hot in April. I mean, she's hitting, .477 in the month of April. That's insane. Percy Yamas is a freshman, and she has had a historic and incredible year. She's getting on base. She has home runs. 39 out of 48 collegiate games. She's been made it on base. And then looking at our pitchers, we have our two-way player, Elia Binford. You know, she can do it on both sides. She's good at pitching. She's good at hitting. She's incredible, but mostly we really have a lot riding on Miley Wachino. She's our freshman pitcher. She's got these crazy strikeout numbers, this really good ERA, but we have good depth. We have a good lineup that we can rely on. And also looking at the Bulldogs, they have a really impressive senior, Sierra Sacco, who's hitting .471 on the year, which is insane. So we have to look out for her. And they have a strong pitcher. Who is it? They have a really strong pitcher, Chafin, who has pitched 50%, like half of all of the innings for their team. So she is really strong. Her ERA is only like 2.5. So they are a strong team in a lot of regards, but we hopefully will come out and prove to be even stronger, right? Yeah, so we will be back after the break to talk about the National Basketball Association playoffs. Very exciting. Wolves in 5.
Gonna be a hot one out there for move-in weekend, Ole Miss. Good luck this year, Red.
You did it. You're home. I can't wait for you to discover the true meaning of hotty toddy. It's a cheer that connects us all to the red and blue. It's the moment that begins when you step on campus and continues long after you turn your tassel. I can't wait for you to discover your legacy and make the world a better place. Are you ready?
Hi, my name is Lars Roberts. I'm the director of the Student Media Center on the Ole Miss campus. We have a lot of vintage Ole Miss yearbooks available for you. If you're missing a yearbook from whenever you were a student on this great campus, or you know someone who was an alum, go to the Ole Miss Marketplace website and order a yearbook that you can either pick up at the Student Media Center or have delivered directly to you. If you need a yearbook from 2008 or 1988, we have it for you. Books are either $25 or $35 depending on the year that you want. Go to this link, choose your book, choose whether or not you want to have it delivered, and it'll be in your mailbox in a matter of days.
Everyone has a ritual, that small thing that keeps us focused. A habit we never skip to clear our minds and elevate our performance.
But what do you do to keep your head in the game, to drown out the self-doubt and support your mental health? Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body.
It's about taking care of your mind and mental health. Discover the resources you need to keep your mind focused and your mental health a priority.
For the break, we were talking about which is the best sport, but for some of us who think it's basketball, we will talk about the NBA. I personally would love to talk about this Timberwolves-Lakers series. What did you guys think?
I think it was a great series. It's unfortunate because, you know, I think my GOAT is getting old, you know? and I think the Mark Williams trade is really having serious implications on this team because I'm watching the games and, like, LeBron James is having to play like the 4 or the 5 most of the time against Rudy Gobert, and you know he can't do that and then go on the other end and score. Lastly, Luka, man, I can't stand watching Luka play sometimes because he tries to get these calls and he doesn't get these calls, and his hands in the air arguing with the ref while the other team is sprinting down court going to score in transition. So And as far as Minnesota goes, Anthony Edwards, period. That's it. Yeah.
And I thought was pretty interesting and really shows our depth. I'm a Minnesota fan. What really shows our depth is that Ant Edwards really did not show up for Game 5. He went 0 for 11 on 3-pointers. And so I think that shows. And then, Rudy Gobert stepped up. And I think that really shows the depth of this Timberwolves team. But games 1 through 4 just showed the star power that Anthony Edwards has. It's really exciting, I think.
Face of the league for sure.
Oh yeah, he's awesome. Another thing that I thought was kind of insane, a crazy stat in my opinion, was that the Wolves shot 7 for 47 at the 3-point line, which is less than 15% shooting percentage there. And of the whole season, they're the only team to do that and win. All 8 teams that did that lost. So
in Game 5, they did that?
In Game 5, they had a 14.9 shooting percentage from 3.
Defense.
Yeah, so I thought that was pretty impressive. Any other series that we're looking at?
Yeah, just in addition to the Timberwolves-Lakers series, I was also kind of surprised to see the Pacers-Bucks series end in 5 games. Not that I was necessarily surprised that either team won the series that ended up winning, but just because that it finished in 5 games. And then I just want to talk about the Knicks-Pistons series, the Nuggets-Clippers series, and the Rockets-Warriors series. Nothing in particular about any of them, just that I'm really excited to watch all 3 of those Game 6s. With the Knicks up 1, Denver up 1, and Golden State up 1. I mean, I know all 3 of those teams are up 1, but I can see any of those series going either way, so I'll just be really interested and excited to watch those games.
I'm excited to watch the Rockets-Warriors. That's the only upset series we have right now, the 7 and the 2. So I'm really excited to watch those. Both the Rockets are a really young team as well, so it's going to be interesting to see their run. And then the Warriors on their side, a very experienced team, so that'll be fun. Either way, they're going to have to, whoever wins that is going to give the Wolves a very good run for their money.
And speaking on that, I feel like the Rockets-Warriors series is so vital to the Timberwolves playoff run, because if Golden State isn't able to get up out of there in 6, and they go to 7 games with Houston, a team that plays physical defense and hounds on the ball, I really feel like Minnesota could get Golden State up out of there in 5 as well. And then vice versa, I think if this Golden State Rockets series goes to 7, I really feel like the Timberwolves will have not an easy path, but a way easier path to go to the conference finals and possibly the finals. So something to watch there.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that the Rockets need to come back in 7, because this is their best run we've seen from them in a while. And also, if they beat the Wolves, whoever wins that next year is going to have to go play the Thunder. I mean, it's not going to be an easy task. I'm saying the Thunder over the Nuggets or the Clippers, but it's going to be the Thunder. But it's not going to be an easy task getting to the championship to play teams like the Celtics or the Cavs.
Yeah. But I do like what you said, Tay, just talking about the Timberwolves' path, making it to the conference finals if they were to play the Rockets maybe instead of the Warriors. But I do think that the Timberwolves will make it at least to the conference finals. I know then they'll probably have to play the Thunder. That would be a really tough series. It would be a great series to watch.
Yeah.
And honestly, I've said this whole time, this whole NBA season, that I really thought the Thunder was going to win it all, but I'm really close to switching it to the Timberwolves just because what I've seen so far, especially last year, losing in the conference finals, Ant did. This year, already beat Luka, got revenge first series. I just think he's entering just another mode right now. He's getting older. People still forget just how young he is, and I think the Timberwolves are going to win it all.
Let me tell you this.
I don't think the East are going to.
Let me tell you this, though. They swept Memphis in 4. Yo, they're in the ice tubs right now, chilling, resting.
I know. It's just because of last year. The choke last year scares me a little bit too.
That's right.
They were in a similar situation, but I don't know. We'll see. It's going to be awesome to watch. I can't wait to watch the playoffs this summer. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
The Wolves, if they do end up playing either team, I think they split the series with Houston and lost the series to Golden State, so there's not like any huge predictor that jumps out to me. I'm very excited for them. Also, looking at that Indiana Pacers and Bucks series, I agree with you. Like, I thought it would go to 7, but I think Damian Lillard being out kind of just pooped that series out. But they are going to play the Cavs, the Pacers are, and I believe that they're one of only 2 East teams that won their series against the Cavs in the regular season. So, I mean, anything can happen, but I mean, the Cavs have been looking insanely dominant, especially versus the Heat. Like, that almost wasn't even fun to watch that series. So that's interesting, but we will definitely see what shakes out in that regard. Yeah. Any other final NBA playoff thoughts?
Celtics Thunder. Yeah.
It's gonna be someone from the West. I'll say that. I don't think it's gonna be anyone from the
100%.
East. It's gonna be the West.
They're a little
The
stronger.
Celtics the Celtics been hooping.
I just don't think they're gonna go back to back. I don't know. I just
It
don't
could
think that's
happen.
gonna happen.
Crazier things have
Yeah,
happened.
yeah.
Crazier
They have a
things
knack
have
for that.
Anything could happen in this playoffs. Anything could happen.
All right. Well, unfortunately, we are out of time. This is the last Rebel Watch for the year, but we will be back next year for more Rebel Watching. I have been your host, your new host, Eric DIERKE. This has been with me, as always, Sawyer, Rovegno, TAYE Coleman, and Walker Farmer. Thank you so much for watching, and hotty toddy.